Okay, so just a brief introduction of myself. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us live. And I promise that we're, I promise that we're going to make it worth every time you spend here, every resources you spend to come online. Because first of all, my name is Barrister Michael Etaifo. I'm a lawyer and I've been practicing for over a decade now. And I also own some companies. I work or I'm on the board of Nigeria with help in registration of these companies, with help in clients, some legal requirements that are meant to run a successful business. Because it's not just having your business on board, you are supposed to to ensure that your business thrive in, because the challenge is that it is challenging running a business in Nigeria. It is challenging running a business in Nigeria. But what as you want to run the business in Nigeria, to follow some guidelines so that you will avoid certain penalties. Like the webinar is titled Save Costs and Grow Your Business. Now you'll be wondering, how will you save costs? The tax law in Nigeria is evolving, and Nigeria is such that we are not really tax compliant. The compliance level of remittance tax or paying tax or filing our tax returns in Nigeria is very low. But the problem is now they are putting every structure in place to ensure that many organizations, many individuals, many income earners pay their taxes, because that is how the government will generate revenues. Now, this webinar is brought to you by Haven Nation in a church, then in conjunction with multi care homes. We are a property development company. We have an estate in Ekpe and in Ibadan. But let's business of the day. Avoiding penalties, saving costs in your business. Today's webinar will be structured in 4 sessions. There will be the legal aspects, which will be handled by myself. There will be tax aspects, which will be handled by our tax expert, chartered accountant, and also an auditor. There will be question and answers. Sorry, not question and answers. There will be DIY, that is do it yourself, where we're going to be unveiling some certain how you can do this yourselves. Because a business, a individual or an entrepreneur starting out might not have the resources to pay a lawyer, might not have every resources to pay an accountant, to pay a tax expert or a tax consultant, and what have you. So we want to show you some things that you can do it yourself, that you can do by yourself. Save some of these expenditures. I am an entrepreneur. this. When you're starting out, depending on what you are into, you might be the graphic person, you will be the sales, you are the MD, you are the marketer. So so there are lots of things that entrepreneurs, when we start out, we to stay up, we do these things because except you except all these that is when if you're starting out, hire manager, you're going to hire MD, you're going to hire a customer rep, you're going to hire a graphic designer, you're going to hire video editors. But of course, in the do it yourself, you will not be shown how to do video editing. Graphic, no. But what will be is areas that are in line with legal and tax. They were going to have question and answers where you will send questions. We might not be able to answer all. What we do is pick out the ones to answer or answer them. Then once this when the webinar would do videos on answering those questions, upload. Love you to kindly subscribe to our channel so that we upload these videos. So click on the notification button so that you get these videos. We'll also have some details. We'll also send you a reminder. So let's just kick off. So now, avoiding penalties. Why legal compliance matters. Avoiding penalties. Now, many times we know now. I want to appeal to some of us. Some of these things we are going to be sharing. I want you to know that there are also individuals on this live webinar that might not know any of these things. So just take enough to get the area where you are setting. Avoiding penalties, attract investors, build credibility. Like for example, there was a company that reached out to me. One of the directors wanted to relocate overseas based on some what do you do, company you work, own a company and all that. So they uploaded their CSA information, where when they checked the company information, they realized they are not filed since inception. Now, annual returns is different from tax. Annual filed to the Tax Commission, CAC, because I believe many on this probably have not filed since you started your business. Now, they flagged the embassy checked the company. There was this flag. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think is he invalid, inactive? Correct. Some of you might know these things I'm talking about. Inactive. So they pointed it out to them. When they asked the question, they now realized that they've not filed annual returns because filing annual returns is an ongoing concern. It's a complete term that shows that the business is alive and I'm going concern. So they quickly reached. I think they were owing, I think, 9 years. And every year you don't file, there's a default fee of 5,000 naira. So which means for the 9 years, they have attracted a default fee of 5,000 naira. Then there is now the amount to file annual returns that will be charged. The default fee is different. Each year has its own amount. Then imagine the amount you will now pay to the consultant, to the lawyer, or the CAC agent be filing it. So even at the base, at the lowest fee, let's say 5,000 default, 5,000 what you have to CAC, 5,000 per year to the lawyer, or the depending on who is charging you. That's already 15,000 naira per year. Now, naira times 8, 9, 10 years, you're looking between 120 to 150,000 for probably a business you maybe have not started. Many times we register this business, but we not started, like, operating it. We just want to register it, right? We sort for fun, we get office. Then sometimes we have registered this business, but we've not opened a corporate account. So we are using our personal account, personal information to run the business. You might have letterhead and probably have a business structure, but you've not opened a corporate account. You are receiving the funds or the money into your personal account. It's not business. As long as you are registered, you are meant to be filing annual return every year. Now, do you know that now? I want to give you this tip now, because this webinar will show you things that you can't decide yourself. You want to know how to do these things, or source to a lawyer, because we are going to ask a lawyer. So some of these things I'm telling you are things that you will not be a client for me to make money in. But that is one of the things we are will be help you save. The five return for a year as a limited is 5,000 naira. Treat yourself. And if you file on time for business needs, is 3,000 naira. But how much we charge, depending on who you meet, we charge as high as maybe 10, 15, 20, 25 per year. If the years are now much, you can now discount. But imagine if you are doing it yourself. Imagine if you're filing your annual returns yourself. So those are the things I'm talking about. Avoiding this penalty. Because in tax, if they are going to be filing tax, in payment of tax, there are waivers. There are things that you can put in place that will avoid this penalty. Because in tax, there is what we call tax evasion, or evading tax, and tax avoidance. You can avoid paying some tax, it's legal. But if you evade paying tax, it's criminal. You can be charged for criminal and even for civil. Also, FRS, because remember it's a penalties and saving costs. FRS give waivers. Sorry, the federal government or the tax law give waivers to company. Do as we speak, not made up to 5 million a year by exempted tax. But the FRS will still approach your office, because once in a while they just do this, something like a raiding. They just appear in your office and ask for your, if you are, whether you have made up to 10 or 25 million, they will just come and say, you pay tax. If you say no, They come to your office and they try to make you compliant by paying the tax. But you are abreast with the knowledge that if your company has not made up to 25 for the year, for the previous year, you are in from exempted from paying taxes. If they come to you and you are abreast with this information, you know about this waiver, you are not supposed to pay any tax. But if you don't know, they will give you a consultant that will assist you in calculating what you're supposed to pay. So when you are compliant in most of the areas, you see that when investors come, because when investors come, they do a background check on your company. And trust me, investors, if you run a business, investors need to your personal account. No matter how much you give them your personal account, it's already a red flag. You are not worthy of an investor or of an investor. So when you do this thing, you build credit in your company because these are things that investors imagine that company like that one of the director wanted to travel out. That is just one out of many examples. If they do a check on you, they will just see inactive. Now imagine your business, probably you are in your office now. Somebody is doing a background check on your company, seeing inactive. You think what the investor, whoever it is, what the person will just assume is that okay, that's you're supposed to have done, you're not doing. So so it helps when you are abreast of these things so that ahead of because a new bill is coming up. As I said, the federal government is doing everything possible to ensure they have a large percentage of this own income in their taxes. So common penalty. I already talked about CAC filing defaults, labor law breaches, and pension non-remittance. They are if you employ staff, they're supposed to have things like payee. When our tax consultant comes on board, he will do more on these things. So there are certain things that you're supposed to put in scope. It's not just for you to employ staff everywhere. No, there are tax laws that guide what you should do. There are labor laws that guide how you should treat your staff. Things that should be available. That's the reason why you see that you might see a company like probably a bank. I have in a branch, 30 staff. But out of the 30 of them are contract staff. They're trying to reduce some liabilities. So that is why they do that. Now let's go to next slide. Now, business structure. Business structure, sole proprietorship. It's easy, but it's unlimited. It's unlimited liability. Because of the cost of registering companies, it's what do you think runs? What is actually happening? Sole proprietorship it has unlimited liability. What does that mean? What does this limited liability means? Now, this is not to now make you go into fraud or try to cheat people. You understand what I'm saying? So no. But because if you do that, remedy for it. There's an equitable remedy for it. When liability means, when you're in debt, oh, your liability is that is why it's called limited liability. Your liability is limited. It extends to your debt. Extends to your liability limited to the company. Sole proprietorship, you see many people that register a business name. Business name, so are changing. Sole proprietorship, business name, enterprise. You are not a CEO. Many will register sole proprietorship. They will put CEO. Yes, you can do it for paparazzi sake. CEO. The CEO is meant for limited company. The liability of sole proprietorship is unlimited. The sole proprietorship, you are the company. You are doing you are the owner. It's like one man business. You are the owner of the company. And that is why a proper agreement with a business sole proprietorship. Remember, I told you I'm a lawyer. You might prepare the agreement in ways to make you feel okay, or maybe the client wants it, but the actual structure of preparing an agreement is, let's say I have a sole proprietorship. Michael, the way the agreement will be structured will be Michael the typho doing business as no. That is why in countries you will hear they will say DBA, doing business as, which means your name and you are doing business as. Another term used, running under the name and style of, so Teletypho running under the name and style of Snowdrop Solicitors. That is correct for any agreement, any document, any agreement. It's not your business name, then of your the of your other, but the name doing business as. Now, if you are in debt, maybe the total asset of the company is total asset of your company. Maybe, but limited liability, company have this protection around your. It is limited to assets of the company. So if your company is worth 20 million, but you're in debt of 50 million, they cannot come after you or after your assets. Come after your assets, your personal assets, your car, your house. When there's an evidence, when there's an evidence there is fraud somewhere, suspect fraud, even at that, they cannot just come. They will need to apply or send forth a particular application, giving them the right to acquire your personal assets. And in that application, they will need to give us the reasons why feel there is fraud, and therefore by front the fraud. In law, we call it um, hiding behind the veil or something like that. Yes, lifting the veil. So, but for the application, we want to lift, the veil. But of course, it's not in your veil. Veil covering, like protection. They are not seeing. So, if you have a limited ability company, in as much as you are the director assigned, your individual self is not the company. The company is a person on its own. Now, I'm trying to avoid not to lecture. So that's why I'm not giving anything like definition. What's the definition of tax? What is the definition of no? Because we're trying to make it as practical as possible. So, as a director, your company is a person, it's an individual, it's a corporate entity, it's an individual. You are separate from the company. And when your, let's call it, yeah, your creditor realize that, okay, there's fraud, they will now apply to court. Lift that shield that is covering and protecting you. The application lift that veil so that they can come after you and your personal assets. So, but if you there's no evidence, that they cannot go anything beyond the asset of the company. So, in that instance, they might want to call for the winding of your company or try to now settle the case out of court. Now, most people they register limited ability or sole proprietorship, but they are into partnership. Ensure everything you are doing document. These days, if you don't want to pay a lawyer's fees, there are ways to go about it. It's not that you have to be careful. So I'm not telling you now to assume the role of a lawyer, but there are certain little transactions you go into. Try to put it in writing. At the least, have chat on social media. But the law has evolved to that stage where your your conversation, your communication on social media has the backing of the law. And the that is coming, you cannot just record your conversation because you are discussing a business with someone. You record out the consent of the other party. So, which means as much as conversations will go on call, try to have the main terms and conditions written down, or at the least, like, get an APT to get some of these things done. Of course, you cannot say it's a lawyer that prepared it, or you also need to be careful with AI too, because garbage in, garbage out. What you feed AI that it will feed out to. But during DIY, I will say a little bit. So your business structure and liability matter. So next time you want to register a business, think very well. Do you want sole proprietorship or limited? Because if you think sole proprietorship is cheaper, go for that. There are certain contracts, certain deals or action that that meet you will prevent you from applying for them. So when you hear some, what do they call this? There is this application you want to apply for contract with government. So you will see, we apply. We see some requirements. Some will even tell you the number of share capital you should register. Have you hardly see a business. They will, And you know that to upgrade, you can always upgrade from business name limited, but it is so expensive. You know why? Many people don't know. Cost of upgrading from sole proprietor, there is first of all an application and an approval. Your company name, that business name, must be submitted and be that upgrade it. They will first of all check that name. You can see the danger in as much as it has some pros, some advantages. They will first of all check that it's registered already as limited. If there are similar companies that has already registered as similar to that your business name, it will not be, your application will be disapproved. Application will be denied. So which means that particular name you'll be using business name for years, a growth project. Your goal is to grow and to get some of to apply for some of these things for contracts. So that's that on business structure and liability. Let me try to rush. I'm not supposed to use more than 30 minutes. So the thing that more than the 1.5 hour we take for as much as possible. So I'm going to rush from it. I can handle experts. So separate business from personal account. I've already done it a little bit. Corporate account is very important. It simplifies compliance in audits. Now, let me give an example. You have somebody that does business, like maybe personal shopper or maybe hair. Let's say you have a hair salon. Clients, even from hair salon, maybe Miss Beauty and Salon is registered, but you not open a corporate account. You are wondering all the requirements they tell you to go and bring CAC, go and register your company, bring this document, PPN, NIN, and all sorts. So because of that, you really register for your company. And it's six the new tax law, earn more than 2,000 a year, liable to tax. Now, you see the danger of not having a corporate account. You're going to be receiving all all the monies for your business. You're going to be receiving it in your personal account. It's not just about receiving in your personal account. When you are buying your expenditure for that business, maybe you bought the equipment, shampoo, hair dryer, maybe you have a barbecue, you are paying everything from your personal account. So the persons you are paying to might not have structure their personal name. So you still go to this for this, send 150,000 to this person, send another 250,000 to this for this. You paid your landlord rent for the shop you are using. Landlord is receiving it into his personal account, paying it in a personal account. You definitely exceed 100,000 by year. Remember, I said sole proprietorship is an individual. So it is you. Your tax. Will you be able to remember which was expenditure? I doubt you will not be able to remember all because even we that have limited companies, when we are doing our audit, our annual audit, sometimes based on the statement from the bank, so some of the narration or description will not show, and we'll start cracking our brain. What or pay? Because see, if your expenditures are documented in reducing the tax, let's assume to pay tax. Do you know that as little as the bottle of soft drink you had, as little as bottle of soft drink you had in the office, or the plate of rice you said staff to go and buy for you, 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 15,000 naira, or you bought refreshments for your staff, or your recharge card to connect to the internet, do you know that it's expenditure? And when they are recorded, you reduce the cost. It will, so, and secondly, it will even help you for accountability. You might receive 10 million naira, maybe a total of 10 million naira entered your account in the last annual year. You will see your statement and you're wondering, 40,000 left in your account. And you're wondering, those are some of the ways to help yourself. Because if you have a corporate account, ensure every the tax expert will talk more on this too. Ensure every payment is documented or a receipt. Find a way or at least a narration so that when the tax consultant is helping you or whoever comes to your office to file your tax, it will be recorded as expenditures, not as income. There's difference between revenue, income, expenditure. But our tax expert will talk more on that. So let me quickly, I should be rounding up now. So essential document for SMEs, for business owners. I've already talked a little bit about this one. Your CAC registration for returns, annual returns. Ensure those things are done. Your TIN. If you are if you are a business name, sole proprietorship, or register your TIN, because that is what will now be in then your contract, NDA, and non-disclosure agreement, depending on what kind of transaction you are going in with people. Because some business owners, they want to go into a business discuss, or maybe you are seeking for funds. That's where NDA are really need. You want somebody to support the business. The person said, "Okay, come to my office or come to the house, explain what this business, how you intend to make money, and how you can generate, pay me back." Maybe it's a novel business, it's a novel idea, it's an idea that is not very known. You go to this person, you start discussing, start downloading everything. At the end of the day, the person said he's not sure, invested, invest. 2 weeks later, 2 months later, this same person went to meet to register, has opened that discussed with him. You know that you can sue that person. That person has taken your idea. So that is why you need, before you make any major movement, have some things documented, have some things written. No matter how respectful that is, just tell the person that if the person is actually a business person, the person knows, the person has the funds to invest into your, trust me, the person knows what non-disclosure agreement or non-separation, depending if you are in another person, so that the person will not go tell them to sign. Just say, "Sir, my lawyer said," even if you don't have a lawyer, just say, "My lawyer said it would be good that whoever meets for investment, whoever investor are meeting should go through this non-disclosure, sign there," and you can get that done on time. In case you don't want to spend the money to the lawyer, you can get that done. ChatGPT can help you. IP protection, that is another aspect of the zone. One day we'll be doing a video that can upload on our channel. be have something new, or you have an image that you don't want to be tarnished. Like for example, I'm last slide. I just have one more slide. Okay. So on IP, let me just quickly give you an example. So, know this particular actress, uh, Omotola Omokende, Omo Sexy. Somebody registered a business, Omo Sexy. You know, Omo Sexy does she have another name? Let me just use that as an example. Somebody registered a business, somebody patronized business, thinking the business with Omotola, or thinking Omotola is part of the business. Now failed their promise, or whatever of their um, obligations. The person now sued the company, added Omotola. Omotola now said she's not the business, she had nothing to do with that company. Because of that, she now went to register or protect that name. I think Omosex, when you protect Omosex, it was not allowed. So, Om, or something like that. Or I think Omotola also. It was an IP that she registered. You know, because of that. You know, so that is the reason why, depending on what you are in, IP is important. Now, filing reminders. If you register your business January, or if you register your business August this year, before August next year, set the reminder. So that by August next year, you are planning to use templates. I've already talked about that. Set consultation where you have somebody you can call, ask expert, a lawyer for guidance. Some of us here, it's going to be free, but it will not be free every time. So you can call and ask. If you have my number, you can call and ask one or two questions. Those are some of joining us live here. I will give you one or two things to do to help you. So I'll be
Okay, thank you, Barrister Mike. Okay, so my name is Henry Dugbele. I'm a tax professional, an auditor. So this topic, avoid penalties, safeguards, grow your business, is carefully thought and designed by Barrister Michael, and it is tailored to assist you in your business. So it's my pleasure to be with you today to discuss a topic that affects every small scale business enterprises. Now, I'm coming in the area of tax, and taxes are often seen by some school of thought as a burden. But when properly understood and managed, compliance become a tool to avoid penalties, save cost, and grow your business. This section of tax is subdivided into six majorly, aside from introduction, which is basically 1% of payroll cost in a year. Now you have employees, including you directors of a company, and under this law, this is a social insurance. They are saying that, okay, if any of your employee, you leave your house on the morning, you go to work, and you're coming back from work, so within the period you leave your house in the morning to work, and they are coming back from your work to your house, you are being insured. If anything happens to you, the NSITF takes care of it. They will indemnify you. It's a social insurance. It's being managed and owned by the government. So 1% of your payroll cost is going to be your remittances annually. Also, ITF, Industrial Training Fund. Before now, if you have up to 5 employees, including the directors are inclusive, you are made to remit ITF to Training Fund. But as it is now, the Omnibus Act of 2023 signed by President Mohamed Buhari late has change that. So if you don't have up to 25 employees now, you are not meant to remit ITF. Okay. Other levies depends on the sector and the state. Like under the state, in Lagos, if you are operating an hospitality business, you'll be paying your consumption taxes, tax on drinks, tax on rentals, that's accommodation. You'll be paying your payee. You'll be paying your the direct assessment of the for the directors. You'll be paying your business premises and development levy as well. So knowing which taxes apply to you is the first step to avoid penalties, save costs, and grow your business. Do you understand that? Knowing which tax apply to you is the first step to avoid penalty, save cost, and grow your business. If you don't know it, there's no way you can do it. You cannot avoid what you don't know. That it is very necessary for us to actually know. So if we don't actually know it, we can get a professional that's going to teach us, they're going to put us on the right track. So that is that about that. So the next section we're going to be talking about why many SMEs struggle with taxes. Why do you think many SMEs struggle with taxes? One is, we have also said something about that. One is lack of awareness or understanding of the tax law. One is lack of awareness or understanding of the tax law. Now, the ignorant is no excuse in law. Barrister Mike can tell you that ignorance is no excuse in law. You can't say I don't know, whereby you are meant to know. You are meant to know. So if you say I don't know, you can't go to the courts and the judge is talking. You say I didn't know this law. I didn't know this law. And if you say that, they are not going to exonerate you of the liability or responsibility. So it just you are just making a case, fine, but it's not an excuse. Now, another reason why SMEs struggle with tax is the poor record keeping. They don't keep records. Some of them may say, okay, we cannot afford the service of a professional accountant, we cannot afford the service of an accountant. But even if you don't keep records, there are companies that are classified under incomplete records. At least they can employ somebody even without the knowledge of accounting. The person can actually do what? The person can record their activities. The record says 5,000. When they make purchase, the record purchases 5,000 or 3,000. That's fine. It's better than not having a record at all. Because other than that, accounting record has to be double entry. Okay, I have to credit sales, I have to debit another account. So two accounts being involved in any single transaction. But even if you don't have a professional that's going to be doing it for you in that manner, but you have somebody that's going to do it for you, even in a single entry, the way you can know, so, okay, I may say part of our corporate social responsibility or a part of our social responsibility. So that's good. Now, next is cash flow challenges leading to late payments. So many people, yes, they are paying, but most times they pay very late. For every tax, there is due date. Okay, for VAT, the law is saying when I make sales and deduct VAT, I am meant to remit that VAT on or before 21st day of the following month, which means I have the 21 days after the end of the month to file. If I'm not able to file it within that bracket, within that range, within that date, it means I'm going to pay penalties. It means we are going to pay penalties. So we need to understand that. Okay. Another one is fear or mistrust of tax authorities. We all know that in Nigeria, yes, we hear about tax accountability. We hear about some of these things. Like in the US, if you go to the US, if you go to other part of the world, you see infrastructural facility. They don't struggle with it. You see good roads, electricity, pipe-borne water, and all that. Good medical care. But in this part of the world, the reverse is the case. So because of that, many people are not paying their taxes because our government are not accountable. Over the television, you'll be hearing 20 billion was siphoned by one person to so and so by one person. It will not really encourage people to pay tax. But the good news is that, one, you need to understand that what tax is not paid in exchange of anything. It is an obligation. It's an obligation. It's not paid in exchange of services or that. So that is what it is. Now, we need to also understand that, okay, there are so many instances whereby some companies, small companies by their size, have been exempted from what? Tax. Like presently, companies doing turnover of 25 million and below are categorized as small company. They're exempted from what? CIT, education tax, and thereabout. But if you don't file that nil return you are meant to file as at when due, it means you are going to, when filing it, you are going to file it with penalties. Government has actually exempted you, but you did not exempt yourself because you did not key into it. So when you are now doing it at your own time, or when you are being caught, you are going to now do it with penalties. You're going to be paying much penalties in a bid to resolve the issues. That's that. Then also other companies that are also not exempted, when you are supposed to pay 100,000 naira as a CIT or as a tax, and you don't pay it as at when due, what you are going to do is that interest and penalties are accrue, and interest is at the ruling commercial bank rate. It's assumed you are doing business with government money, so you're going to pay it with interest. So that is why this particular webinar is designed for you to know, to avoid penalty, save cost, and grow your business. Because most time the cost of non-compliance may be so much for company. You remember some time ago, a company like MTN, because they were floating regulatory policies, they had issue with the government. And assuming they pay the fine they asked them to pay, the company, you won't hear about MTN again. Recently, there's a case with DSTV. It's actually so much. They gave them a bill to pay. And even if you want to go to court, yes, the court will tell you that, okay, you have to deposit at least 10% of that assessment they gave to you. You have to deposit at least 10% of that assessment before they can entertain the matter. So if you don't do that, you're on your own. So we can actually avoid these things. We can avoid these things. I have a client some time ago that said he will not pay tax until they arrest him. It's only when they catch him he will pay. But eventually, some time ago, he called me, okay, I want to pay. And we assisted him and he paid. He got his clearance. That's that about that. Also, Barrister Michael said something about filing your CAC 10. When you register a company or a business name, maybe probably your lawyer did not tell you. You just register a business and you are running it. You didn't even know they are going to be doing your annual return with CAC. Because CAC, how do you think CAC make their money and pay their staff? And also remit money to the government from time to time. So when they register a business for you, the company was registered under a law, which is Company and Allied Matters Act 2020 as amended to date. Now, you are meant to be what? Filing your annual returns. And for companies, for private companies, you have to pay annual return is like 5,000 plus. But if you don't pay it at due date, you are paying it with penalties. You are paying at a default rate. So there's another 5,000 added to it, plus the one you're going to pay your professional to do it for you, or you're doing it by yourself. Do you understand? So if I comply, I will pay just 5,000, maybe plus the amount I'm going to pay my professional. But if I don't comply, I'm going to pay a default rate of 10,000 plus the professional fees and thereabout. So many companies are guilty of this. They are guilty of this, non-compliance. So we can actually avoid some of this because sometimes it can be so heavy on the company. So now, how do I avoid penalties? Avoiding penalty, what does it mean? Penalties is the cost of non-compliance. Penalties is the cost of non-compliance. So we can actually avoid it by what? Complying. Penalties are more costly than the tax itself. It's more costly because there's an added cost. Sometimes we are not meant to pay any dime, but we are not, since we are not paying at all, or we are being caught on the other side of the law. So we are not meant to pay what we are supposed to pay with interest, or pay interest and penalties where we are not even supposed to pay anything. Like as it is, some businesses, if you register a new business now, the law say, okay, between 6 months after business registration or upon commencement of that business, we are meant to register with the revenue authority for tax purpose. Now, 6 months after registration or upon commencement, whichever comes earlier, that's what the law says, whichever come earlier, upon commencement or 6 months after registration, we are meant to register for tax purpose with the revenue authority. Now, we don't register upon commencement as after 6 months. Some people, they've registered their business for 3 years. They have not registered office for tax purpose. So when you now need something, you want to now go, you are now registered. At the point of registration, you are paying penalties, which should have been avoided. So this webinar is tailored for you. So penalties are more costly than the tax itself. That is why we say, okay, there's a difference between tax and levy. A tax is the actual tax you are supposed to pay, but levy comprises both the tax and the penalties and interest you are paying because you did not comply. So that is that about that. So late filing penalty is there, late payment penalties plus interest is there, risk of audit and reputational damage. Now, when tax office are going through their record, they see that this company is in business, is registered under the CAC, and is not paying their taxes. They can write you a letter for tax audit. We are coming to audit you, or we are coming to investigate you, because there's a clear case of tax evasion. There's a clear case of, we can say, tax fraud. Tax fraud should have been established. So non-compliance trigger investigation or audit, and the burden for it will be heavy on the company. Okay, so as small scale business, it is better we what? Comply. An SME owing 500,000 CIT may face penalties and interest of over 200,000 within a year if unpaid. It's possible. Non-compliant can also block opportunities like government contract, bank loan, and investors' confidence. Non-compliant can also block opportunity like government contract. Sometimes they will tell you, okay, you want to bid for a contract. Where is your what? Where is your tax clearance? Maybe you don't have. Where's your tax clearance? Maybe you don't have. Okay, you want to apply for bank loan. They can also give us your 3 years tax clearance or thereabout and thereabouts. So non-compliance is a no-no. Now also, I was discussing with a friend yesterday, and the friend told me his friend were denied a visa because he applied for UK visa, and along the line, they went to check his company. They find out that what? His company status is inactive. How can the UK embassy trust you that you are going to UK, you're going to come back, and you claim you are doing business, and your business name, your company is inactive with Corporate Affairs Commission because you are not filing your what? You are not filing your annual returns. It is not okay for a company. So what is the key message here under avoid penalties? The cost of non-compliance. Paying tax correctly is cheaper than ignoring them. Paying taxes correctly is cheaper than ignoring them. Two, tax avoidance is far better than tax evasion because evasion is a criminal offense while avoidance is not. So under evasion, you are not paying at all, or you are so much under declaring. Under avoidance, I'm looking at the loopholes in the Nigerian law and structuring my business in that line to reduce my tax liability. So there are two kind of things: evasion and avoidance. I can avoid tax by taking advantage of the loopholes in the law. Why? But I can, if evading is a criminal offense, avoidance is not. It is, you just need to understand that it is good. You can get your professionals, if you don't know the tax law very well, they can actually put you through into all this. That's fine. So next part is safe cost benefit of compliance. Safe cost benefit of compliance. when we can, when we try to comply, we have access to incentive. There's the access to incentive, like there's so-called pioneer status incentive that companies operating into some kind of industry, the government grant them tax holiday period. That is incentive, tax holiday. You are not paying tax within this holiday. It can be 3 years, subject to renewal of another 2 years or 3 years. If you are operating in some industry that are not developed here, that we want people to come and develop. Okay, although with the new Revenue Act of 2025 coming into force by 1st day of January 2026, this has been repealed. It has been repealed. Small business exemptions are still, some of them are still there. Reduced CIT rate is still there. By 2026 January, turnover of 100 million and below fall under small company, provided the fixed asset of the company does not exceed 250 million. So now small company is regarded as companies doing test to save costs. You can take advantage of incentive and do your business in line with that. You are eligible for government contract and funding. When you do this, you get your tax clearance, you can bid. There are people that are getting contract from government presently as the budget. They've started implementing the budget. But if you don't comply, you don't have tax clearance, you don't have BPP license, you don't have SUSO license, you don't pay your NSITF, ITF pension compliance, it means you cannot even qualify for some of those government contracts. But I know some of us are not looking for government contracts, but there is also reduced financial risk when we try to comply. No unexpected penalties or legal issues. The FRS is not taking us to court. Then better business planning, accurate task planning help manage cash flow. Then peace of mind when you are complying. Compliance allow owners to focus on growing their business. No, you are not looking back and forth whether somebody is coming to chase you or not. If they stop you on the road, where is your tax clearance? You can just bring it out. I have my tax clearance, I'm paying my tax. So how do I take advantage of this to grow my business? Grow your business, have tax compliance support expansion. One, build credibility. If you are a compliant person, if you're a compliant SME with tax clearance certificate are seen as serious and trustworthy people. It's like it is a paper you need to have. You're going to embassy now, you're doing a business, or you have international affiliation or thereabout. Okay, going to embassy, bring your clearance you don't have. It doesn't show a sign of seriousness. So it builds credibility. It improves access to finance. You go to the bank today, let's have your clearance, let's all have your detailed account, let's have your this you don't have. So it doesn't show sign of seriousness. They may not give you that finance. That's that about that. It encourages partnership. Larger companies are more willing to work with compliant SMEs. Most times you want to apply either as a distributor or as a partner to some larger company. They will request for your tax clearance. They will request for certain information from you to show that you are complying. They will request for your TIN number. When we deduct tax from you, maybe VAT or thereabout, we'll be able to remit it on your behalf. But if you say, okay, I don't have this, I don't have it, they see you as an unserious person, they wouldn't be willing to do business with you. Okay, so that's that about that. Then this position you as well for government support. There's from time to time there's government may be giving out grants, reliefs and program. This require proof of compliance, and one of the documents you need to get or secure to show that your compliance is compliance certificate or tax clearance certificate. You need to be clear that you are actually paying your taxes. So okay, that's that about that. Then also you free resources for growth instead of wasting fund on penalties, because penalties can be avoided. It's avoidable. So why are we not avoiding it and incurring such costs? That cost we incur, we would have redirected it for something better or for investment. So when we avoid penalties, we will now free up resources for investment and reinvestment. We can reinvest in equipment, staff, and market expansion. Okay, so that's that about that. So part 6, practical step for SMEs. Practical step for SMEs. Now, what do we need to do as a business, having known this, we want to avoid penalties, save costs, and grow our business. One of which is what? Keep proper records. Under CAMA, Company and Allied Matters Act 2020 as amended today, it is expected that every company should keep proper records of their transactions. So even if government come today, we want to look at what we are doing.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for that powerful session on enlightening us in the tax issues, the tax laws, and how we can position ourselves, our SME, for the future, starting now. So, but so far, I'm not seeing any question here. You know, it's raining almost everywhere. It's raining in my area too, heavily. So I guess some people are having challenges connecting and listening. So what will happen? Just give me a second, please. Any question yet so far? But I believe they will have question. The challenge was connecting. The challenge was connecting. So what will happen is that most of them have my contacts. Most of them have my contacts and will ask for questions. So, Mr. Henry, we will. So, Mr. Henry, we will oblige you that yes, the multi-care homes will once in a while make create videos attending to some of these questions. Then maybe I'll try and see the recording and see if it comes out well. If it comes out well, then the replay will be available on our channel. It will be available on YouTube for everyone to see. I don't know. We also connected via Facebook, but I don't know if Facebook, I've not been able to check, but I don't know if Facebook keeps the recording. If it's recorded, if there's a link, we'll also make it available to on Facebook. So we'll be doing series of videos teaching them the do it yourself. Like for example, now Tax Pro Max now, if I'm not mistaken, because I registered Tax Pro Max myself, not because I'm a lawyer, but because I took some certain steps, though because I'm already abreast of some information. So I took advantage of those information. You understand? So the same way too, do you know that if you want to register, just as Mr. Henry, our tax expert, has said, you need to make an application within the first 6 months of registering your company, whether you've started operation or not. Remember, I also said something like that too, because these are actions you take that makes your company an ongoing concern. It means this company is active. It means this company is alive. So these things they are very important. Now, FRS have structured Now, FIS have structured it in such a way that once you want to open a corporate account, you cannot not involve them, because even the banks will send you to FRS office. They will tell you to go and activate your team if you have a team. Forget CAC is giving you team. Forget CAC is giving you TIN. Sorry, excuse me. Forget CAC is giving you TIN. If you are conversant with registration these days, your TIN, your corporate tax, your corporate identification tax, your tax identification number it will be on your certificate. Even if it's not, you can apply for it, you can request for it. But that is where FRS will hold you, because that is what they are doing now. Once you need something, that is where you will now be held. So imagine if your business has been operating for 5 years, you've not been filing annual returns, you've not filed your tax returns, Whether you have started business or not, you are supposed to file, just as our tax expert has said. But if you are not doing these things, you know what is happening? Your penalty is compiling. Your penalty is piling up. Sorry. Your penalty is piling up. In that instance, you will now discover that from CAC alone, you have a default fee of almost 100,000. FRS alone, another default fee of almost 200,000. And you are now wondering, I've not even started. I'm not even earning much. Why is this? So, to register a tax Promax Act, to get your TIN and to activate it, you must be on tax Promax, especially if it's limited. That is where FRS is involved. If it's business name, then it's just the LRS or wherever state you are. Now, to register tax Promax alone, as at the time I registered mine, that was like 2 years ago. It was around, people want to charge you 150,000 naira. Now, I think it's going to 200 or 250,000 naira. With it, you will even be required for a tax audit of your account. Tax office, yes, MSTO office. Look for the MSTO office in your area. It's close to where your registered business. So if you are the owner of your business, you are in Lagos, but you want to go and put your business address in Abuja, it means your MSTO office is at Abuja. So you probably need to meet somebody to help you with that. You'll be given some files. This is not easy. Once you can just go in, walk in to the office by yourself and get it done. I charge for this 200,000 naira, but I'm giving you the tip now. Walk into the office. Even our tax experts too. He's an expert in this too. He helped multi-care homes to cut down on default because we didn't register tax Promax at the time we're supposed to, or when we registered our company, 6 months. But you know what, Mr. Henry, I think we were supposed to, I think when I calculated the per month, because the default is per month for tax. When I calculated, I think it was, imagine, almost 3 years. I think it was around 800 and something thousand. What? But of course, with the help of our tax expert, Mr. Henry, his consultation helped. He gave us a tip. And if you go there as a director, if you are owing and you go there as a director, they will want to meet you. They want to make sure you pay something. But if you go there as a tax expert, or you tell them, oh, okay, your tax or your accountant sent you and said this and said that, they know what to do because they are taking advantage of people that don't know the law. So that was how Mr. Henry helped us to waive over 800,000 naira. I'm almost tempted to say hallelujah. Remember, I told you we're told to organize this by the Haven Nation, Haven International Nation. It's a group in Christ Embassy Church. So once in a while, I'm holding my back not to say praise the Lord. If I say it, just respond hallelujah. You understand? So we were able to avoid over 800,000 naira. Mr. Henry too has also showed us some method where we use, like for example, now in our company, we have realtors that sell for us and we pay them a commission. He mentioned it. Now, but the realtor now has calculated his commission. He is not willing for any deduction. He has calculated, so he just wanted. So I spoke to him and he said, now this is a tip that you need to look into. He said, instead of saying agency fee, use the word facilitation fee. Facilitation fee is non-deductible. Bam. So I started giving my realtors full commission, and I was not compelled because it's not just to withholding tax. It's not just to deduct it. You have to file it. You have to compute it together and file it. And most times, as business owners, you will end up spending it before the time for you to file. So these are some of the things we will still do video for all these things and upload on our channel for you to watch again, because we want to make sure we want to educate as many people as possible before 2026. You heard of Ella. It was billed 36 million by LRS, saying, no, not FRS, LRS. His own was that he does not have any business, he didn't register any business, his business is online. You are joking. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for connecting. Really apologize for the poor network. So that's why we're going to be doing a recorded video to give you all these things again. I'll be sending the information. I'll be sending the information across. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for the feedback. Thank you so much, Samuel, for the feedback. So we'll do a video, upload on our channel. We might do this video might be segmented into shorts so that some little tips, in case you don't have that time to sit down and say, oh, maybe for 1 hour to be watching the video, we'll just break it down in shorts so that you can just hear one tips, apply it because we want it to be practical. Yes, our tax experts could not avoid giving you definition, but it was necessary so that you will know the reason why you are being taxed and the reason why there is a waiver, some of those things that they said. Thank you so much. God bless you for joining. Like our channel, subscribe to our channel, click on the notification button so that when we upload, you will get it instantly because I might not even remember to send you the message, but I will try as much as possible to send you the message. Thank you so much for joining once again. God bless you. That will be the end for today. Mr. Henry, do you have any other thing to add before we close, before we call it a day? Hmm. Mr. Henry, Mr. Henry, Mr. Henry, please can you hold on, please? I'm not sure they are seeing you. Yeah, I'm not sure they are seeing you. So just hold on, please, first. Let me quickly check something. Just hold on, please. I just hope they heard all the things you said. Just hold on, please. Just a minute. I don't know why it's not. Okay, please continue. But I don't know why it's not showing. It's not showing on YouTube. You are not showing on YouTube.
Okay, but can they hear me?
Okay, yes, we are. Yes, yeah, we can see you now. Yes. So
Okay,
go
that's
ahead, please.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. So what I'm trying to emphasize now, I'm trying to tell you that task is changing as times are changing. Task is changing as times are changing. So task is changing with times. This is what I mean. Before now, we register a company with CAC and we go to FRS to apply for TIN. FRS will issue us a TIN, which means FRS does not have our database. But now, as company is being registered, immediately the company is being registered, CAC generates a TIN for you and send your database to FRS. So FRS has your information in their database. They can come for you. So the fact that they have not visited the office does not mean they cannot come for you or they don't have information about you.
Hmm.
You need to understand that. Now, two, I sense one of my subordinates to go to one tax office for a particular case, just to register a particular company. So they now check their system. I spoke, they have to give me, I have to speak with the tax controller of that place. They open their system. What happened? The man told me, which company is this that received 170 million into their account and they have not come to do anything with FRS? My very self as a consultant, the bank statement the company gave me is 40 something million. But now the controller is telling me that what the company has done business worth over 170 million. So what do you think now?
I
Do
think
you
I
think
know.
if I submit audited account based on that, do you think if I submit that audited account based on what I have done, that is going to fly? It will not fly. Now, as I said, tax is changing with times. We need to understand that and make our thing business straight this time around. Because Tinubu, when he was in Lagos State, one of the key things he did, he was able to drive tax. Now he's
Exactly.
at the federal level, he's driving tax. He's known for that. He's known for that. No two ways about it. Or before now, there is issues with federal governmental body working together. But now they are working together with the new Nigerian Revenue Service Act. There's going to be a joint audit with between the state and the state and the federal level now. So if you think I'm a business, I don't want to receive money from my business account, I'll receive it from my personal account to reduce tax in case of FRS. We may be joking this time around. It's just better to be transparent now and try to avoid. At least they've increased the ban of small companies that okay, companies 100 million and below, many companies may fall into that 100 million. But if you don't take advantage of this exemption, this incentive, you may be having problem unnecessarily. So the best thing is this webinar is just designed for you, the SMEs. It is very key and it's timely. And I actually appreciate Barrister Mike because Barrister Mike have people in mind to design this webinar. We need to know that what tax is changing. tax is changing. And after now, if you don't, I was in a meeting yesterday with a tax controller of one of the tax offices in Lagos here, and he showed me the list of the name they are sending to court. These ones that they have been the cases that have been approved. They want to prosecute those companies for tax fraud. And when they do that, they may send investigation for them, tax investigation. Investigation can start from inception because they have refused to pay. In tax, there are two major questions. One is compliance, one is adequacy. If I comply and what I'm paying is not adequate, it's a different case.
Mm.
My
Mm.
case is also much more better. So they may even overlook it. But non-compliance at all,
Compliance at all.
it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. So adequacy issue is there. Companies in Nigeria, are they adequately paying what they're supposed to pay? A yes and no. But the case of non-compliance is a no-no. It's actually a no-no. Just know understand that. And it's very clear. We are bringing this to you because we have interest in your business. We want you to do well. But if you are doing well, we're also doing well to affect us. So that is that. Thank you so much, Barrister Mike. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry. Thank you for coming on board. Thank you for enlightening us. I so much appreciated your one of your ending statement where you talked about adequacy is an issue, then non-compliance is even the worst. Because it's true, the federal government will be lenient enough if they see that okay, you've even taken steps. And the companies that have not complied at all, they far outweigh those that have even started or done something little. So they will rather go for those ones. Thank you so much. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate my zonal director of the Haven Nation. Or first of all, I want to appreciate the highly esteemed international president of the Haven Nation, and also my zonal director of the Haven Zone A for making us do this, because it was brought to you by the Haven Nation International through our zonal office, Haven Zone A4. Thank you so much, esteemed Deaconess Dr. Ebere Nwazo, for making us do this, because this is actually my first live webinar. This is actually my first live webinar. So, but as I said, we will not be able to cover all, and we'll do series of videos. So if you have our contact, you can search for our companies online. Reach out to us if you need any help. Reach out to us if you need some explanation, further explanation. I'll be very kind to do so. So we'll be ending the live session now. As I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our videos, so that, and click on the notification button, so that once we release a video, it will alert you. If it's not a video where you are not interested in, it's better. When you now see the one you are interested in, you can click on it, save to watch later or watch immediately. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye. This is bye-bye from Multicare Homes and Investment Limited. Thank you so much. Bye-bye from me. Bye-bye from Mr. Henry, our tax expert. God bless you all.